Oh man, so let me get this straight. Something crazy is happening in Louisiana right now. We're about to find out what the hell is exactly going on. Video by Jay Reed.
Y'all want to hear something crazy? You know that large data center that Meta is building in Louisiana? Well, they want Entergy to build 10 gas power plants just to supply the electricity for that damn data center. I'm not shitting y'all. They're going to provide enough electricity to power 7 million houses. But they need it for that damn power plant. Energy has already signed a contract with Energy Transfer for them to supply them a pipeline of natural gas. 36-inch pipeline. They're going to provide them 1 billion cubic feet a day of natural gas just to power the power plants so they can provide electricity for that damn data center. Now,
It's no secret that Louisiana is home to some of the biggest moving natural gas systems in the United States. You know, that's the reason why they have what we call the chemical corridor, man. It's where a bunch of plants line up along the Mississippi River, and it's just easier for them to transport anything. They just use the river for it. And then they have natural gas pipelines throughout everywhere. That's why the plants come there.
Energy says it's not going to raise the prices for none of their customers because Meta's going to pay for it. Damn good thing, huh? But they're also building transmission lines to add to the grid so any excess electricity that they make can help go to supply for the customers.
This is absolutely huge.
Look, at the end of the day, it's a big adjustment to whatever area is building in. We're gonna do some research, like the video right now, if you want a part two, because I actually live in Louisiana. I'm not too far from this, and it's shocking because even as a resident, you don't really hear too much of this. Now, there was words about the data center and all this stuff. Now, this being a power plant, us getting 10 units, all right, units. And when you think plants, like sometimes there's multiple plants at one location, all right. I don't want you to all think like there's some giant plant here, some giant plant there. There's units or smaller plants in the same area that is feeding off the same energy pipeline, all those things. You get what I'm saying? And they're all working to the betterment of, you know, obviously this big old mission. It's gonna they're gonna dress it up and make it seem like, hey, we're about to do some, we're about to hire some more process operators. We're about to get more jobs out here, blah blah blah. But dude, tapping into all that energy for some fucking data is crazy.
It's being planted on. Let's check this one out. Data center in our town.
We were behind an 18-wheeler once, and it backed up, and we almost got killed.
To be able to do the same. And we welcome Meta, which opened a data center in our town.
We were behind an 18-wheeler once, and it backed up, and we almost got killed. My yaya had to go mouth those people out. She'll say, Meta's stupid. She just doesn't like it, and I don't like it. We've been there for since I was alive, and Papa was alive, so I don't really like that we're gonna have to move.
We went to Holly Ridge, Louisiana, where Meta's new Manhattan-sized data center is being built. Meta's new ads claim these communities welcome data centers, but residents painted a very different picture.
We had no voting on it, no community meetings, no nothing. It was done all under the table. And when it was said and done, there was nothing nobody could do.
You're planning to leave?
I've been here 81 years. I can't stay here with nobody I can talk to. My mom has been out here all her life, 82 years. She's really not happy about it, but does want to leave too.
Do you think they care about the people that live here?
No, I sure don't.
Residents emphasize the increased traffic violence from Meta's trucks. I dug through police reports and found a 600% increase in vehicle crashes on the roads surrounding Meta's construction site in the last 9 months.
The playground at the front of the school, they're not letting y'all play on that.
600% increase in traffic crashes. Wow. Sometimes you just grow and the infrastructure around these cities aren't built for it. When things happen too fast, the roads aren't big enough for it. The drainage isn't big enough for it. Literally, the electrical grid isn't big enough for some of these changes when it happens too fast. There's a lot that you have to plan for and adjust for, especially in small cities.
Right?
No. Meta trucks don't
She can't even play at a playground. The warning is Meta trucks don't watch out. They can't even play on a playground near the road.
watch out. If they try to stop, they will. They wrecked into the gate, and that's why they're saying we shouldn't go out there and all that, because there's too many wrecks and Meta trucks, and they could crash. I really love that playground.
Do you wish you could play there?
Yes.
That's
Residents
insane.
also shared their distrust in the quality of their water and the lack of support from elected officials to address it.
My neighbor was washing my clothes and messed up a whole load of whites because it come out stained from that brown water.
Do you feel like it's safe to drink?
No, I buy water.
Have you heard anything about them addressing that? Have they?
No.
Have you gotten any information about the project at all from anybody?
None at all, except on the internet. And
Now, I can also say this, man. Sometimes you get into these small rural areas in Louisiana and what we like to call well water, bro. And sometimes they just have those brown spots in there. That's very common. But, you know, to somebody that's interviewing and trying to point out a reason to distrust them, that could be something that they're going to extra point out. Like, hey, this is something that I'm used to, but it's occurring at a more high rate.
on my Facebook.
How does this change what it's like to live here?
Just totally different. I mean, who wants to live like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And that
is a lot of trucks. We just witnessed a lot of turning, and you're seeing from this still frame right now, there is just so much more 18-wheeler activity. You know, let me see if I can show you this, but let me see if I can zoom out real quick. They're still delivering looks like a giant building block from a building or a piece of frame for a building right here. That's insane, man. Holly Ridge, Louisiana. Let me go ahead and see what the hell Holly Ridge, Louisiana is, because that's a small town in Louisiana. Let me just check the map real quick. See where that is at. So that is near I-20. That looks like it's North Louisiana near Monroe. That's exactly where it's at. North Louisiana near Monroe. Closest to between Monroe, Louisiana and Jackson, Mississippi. Not too far from one another. That is crazy that this is happening here. Wow.
Centers are now responsible for physical harm via car crashes, and not just your average run-of-the-mill environmental harm that then physically harms us. Meta's $27 billion data center in Louisiana, called Hyperion, has caused at least a 600% increase in car crashes in a small town of 2,000 people. They went from 9 car crashes in 2024 to 64 crashes between January to mid-September of 2025. I can't find any more data for the rest of the year, but I can bet there were more. And Meta estimates that at the peak of the project, they are employing 5,000 workers, 2.5 times the size of the town that this data center will reside in when it's done in 2030. One guy who was driving an 18-wheeler collided with a dump truck who was turning onto the Meta site. And when he spoke to deputies, the dump truck driver said that he does not and has never had a driver's license. And a second guy who was driving an 18-wheeler backed up into another person's car and then just fled the scene. He left the truck in the middle of the road. The Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development claims that Meta has not violated any permits or agreements, and yet also recognizes their responsibility to ensure public safety and minimize work zone impacts.
Yeah, right, my ass, bro. Y'all didn't see any extra traffic enforcement. The roads are very, very small, man. 18-wheeler after 18-wheeler making just random ass turns. They should have adjusted the roadways if they're going to do some major construction like this, and they're not. They're still just dealing with the same old roadways that were present.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The laws are not built for corporations, because companies that size can dedicate an entire department to just running the numbers for the cost of lawsuits, because it's always just fines. And then they just factor it into their budget and they're good. Because once the project is done, it does not matter what illegal things they did before, because they will have either paid people under the table, which is what I assumed happened at the LA DOTD, or they'll pay people off in settlements because it'll pay for itself later on.
Facts. Or either they.
That's insane, man. How do you work in fines knowing that you actively are okay with doing wrongdoing, bro, to people that was just trying to live? You know, at the end of the day, being from Louisiana, I don't see how this is going to benefit the 2,000 already plus residents there. I don't think they're getting any benefits from it. They're already scared. The infrastructure is already shook. Kids can't even play at playgrounds. I was hoping to assume that maybe Meta would have came in and announced their presence, but you can tell the one lady, hey, she didn't even know what was going on. And that's what really happens in small towns. It's like word can get around, but word can't get around. It's so small. So people are so distant. You get what I'm saying? It's one house here, and then 1 mile down the road is another house. Those sort of things. But at the end of the day, it's just like big corporations going to do what they want. They say they're not violating any rules, but yet they got drivers and these independent contractors, and contractors just allowing anything to happen because that contract is so big. They're okay with paying fines. They're okay with getting uninsured drivers. They're okay with getting people that's never even operated heavy machinery. They just want this job to be done, and they're doing it by any means necessary to meet the timelines. That's crazy. And I'm curious to see how these plants work. But hey, nonetheless, please like, subscribe. Video by Jay Reed. You know, credits to him. Go ahead and hit the like button, comment, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one, man. This is insane, man. I'm gonna have to take a little trip up to